All right, now let's put some of those theorems to use to find some missing parts of triangles. So find the measure. This was supposed to say arc DE, okay? Well, I noticed that chord BD goes through the center of the circle and it's perpendicular to chord CE. So if it's perpendicular to that chord, that means it bisects that chord, right? Now, if it bisects it, it's creating two congruent segments, meaning that these arcs, that the measure of arc CD is going to be equal to the measure of arc DE. And if those arcs are congruent, we can now say that 9x equals 80 minus x, right? Now that we have that problem set up, it's pretty easy to solve. I'm going to add x to both sides, which gets me 10x equals 80. Divide by 10 to get x equals 8. Now it didn't just ask us to solve for x, it asked for arc DE. So I'm going to plug 8 back in, so I get 80 minus 8, which is 72, right? So the measure of arc DE is 72 degrees. Cool. All right. Next one, QR equals ST. Both are 16. Find CU. Okay, well, I see that both these chords are equal, right? And this distance CU and CV, those are perpendicular. So it means CU and CV, so CU equals CV, right? So then we can say 2x equals 5x minus 9. Now that you have this set up, solve, so we'd subtract 5x from both sides. We'd get negative 3x equals negative 9 and divide by negative 3. Again, it's asking for a specific length, not just x, so now I'm going to plug that 3 back in. So 2 times 3 is 6, so CU equals 6, right? All right, find, again, the measure of arc AB. So take a second, what do you think the measure of arc AB would be, or how would you figure it out? Well, we know that the central angle here, ECD, is 75, right? So then this arc ED would be 75 degrees. Well, these two chord lengths are the same, so their arcs, their intercepted arcs are going to be equal. So AB is also going to be 75. Right. The measure of arc AB is 43 degrees. All right, so when I label that on here, that's 43 degrees. AC equals DF, okay? So AC equals DF. So find the measure of arc DF and find the length of DF. So for the measure of arc DF, that's this whole arc right here, right? Well, it says AC equals DF, so we know these two chords are equal, okay? And this is perpendicular, so both of these chords have been bisected, right? So if AB is 43, I know CB is going to be 43. And then these two arcs are equal, so I can fill in 43 and 43 over here. So the measure of arc DF would be 2 times 43, which would be 86, right? And then the length of DF, well, again, we know these chords have been bisected, so all of these are going to be 2, so DF is going to be 4. Okay? All right, last one, an application problem. For the corporate headquarters, an executive wants to place a company logo that is 6 feet in diameter with the sides of the H 5 feet tall on the front wall. What is the width of the crossbar for H? So we're trying to find this, right? And we know the length of these chords are 5, and we know the diameter is 6. Well, looking here, we can figure that out if we create a right triangle right here, right? Now I know this would be 90. All right, so I'm going to draw that little triangle over here. This distance here is my radius, so it's going to be half of the diameter, so that's 3. This distance here is half of the whole height of h, so that would be half of 5, so 2.5. And then we're trying to find this, and I'm going to label it y, so it's something different, okay? So I have a right triangle, I'm finding a missing side. I can say y squared plus 2.5 squared equals 3 squared. Square everything, so 6.25 equals 9. Then subtract 6.25 from both sides, so we get y squared equals 2.75, and we need to square root both sides, right? And I get that y is about 1.66, right? Well, that's only half of that crossbar, so I'm going to do 2 times 1.66, which is 3.32 feet. So what is the width of the crossbar? The width is 3.32 feet. Great. All right, again, please email me with questions. I hope everyone is well. Talk to you soon.